greetings and salutations. Good evening. You're like 2 videos in one day? Yeah, man. It's been one of those days. Currently, I'm in the parking lot of Giant because that's where I'm going to be working. I used to work here a long time ago. But anyway, I got some Burger King, so please excuse me while I get my eat on. So, let me start from the beginning. I was born. So if you watched the other video, you know how it went. I was walking around, blah, blah, blah. Came home, blah, blah, blah. I worked on that song. It took me like 5 minutes. And done. So I'll probably make about $50 on a 5-minute song. It'd be great if I can get more of these kind of gigs, but they just come when they come. But so that happened, and then as I mentioned before, I was gonna go to my nephew's football game. So I took a shower and blah blah blah, and I was about to leave, and my dad's like, "Are you busy?" And I told my dad I'm gonna go watch my nephew play football. I'm like, what's up? And he's like, I need you to go get me some beer. Okay. And in a perfect world, that's it. Here's the money. I mean, I do have money. Actually, I don't have money. I mean, I do have money, but I don't have money. My money would have to go to gas. So if I used my money, I would still have to get gas money from my dad. So as I said, I don't have money, right? So so if he just hands me the money, he gets the same type of beer every time. Done. And I wouldn't be making this video. But this is what went down. It went like this. It said, here's the money. Or no, there's no money. It said, I need you to buy some beer. And then he gave a reason. Because, sometimes people, but I don't need a reason. Just, you want it, I'll get it. And then I think he was saying like, so don't be telling the doctor that I'm drinking beer. I'm like, dude, they can tell in your bloodstream because they take blood. They can see this shit. Now, I'm not a doctor. I don't know how that works, but they can tell because they're always like, it seems like, I forget what's elevated when you drink. It's like, it seems like this is elevated. Have you been eating these kind of foods? Have you been drinking? You'd be like, nope, I have not. I'm just rolling my eyes. Okay, whatever. Because apparently when you drink and you're old, it like gives you gout or some shit like that. Serious stuff, painful stuff. Anyway, but I don't care. Whatever. You're gonna do what you're gonna do, then do it. So my dad asks, he says, so he's explaining how he's explaining how to get alcohol. Now, yes, somebody's like, well, isn't it true that you don't drink and you don't and maybe you don't understand how to I don't know anybody who would say that, but maybe you could say that. And maybe that's why he's explaining it. So he says, first thing you got to do is show your ID. You do have an ID, right? So I said, I hope so. Now, if you watch me long enough, you could know my humor. I'm joking around. I hope so. Now, what you don't know, and this is neither here nor there, but a long time ago, I asked my dad, I said, I love you, Dad. And he said, I hope so. So maybe. But I wasn't thinking that. I was just like, I hope so. Just, all right, moving on to the next stage. But then he's like, you don't have an ID? And I'm like, what do you think? He's like, I don't know. I'm like, why would I be driving around without an ID? There's some people out there that, yeah, people out there, but, and again, so then he starts like telling me, my mind blanked out, but he starts talking about milking a cow. So back in my day, we used to milk a cow. And I'm just like, and like, I got to go, meet my nephew. I'm supposed to be there, I want to get there early, find a parking spot. Maybe I could meet up with him, whatever. And he's talking about milking cows. And I'm just like, so then he was saying something like, yeah, I know you don't want to hear this, but how else would you know it? But again, he's talking about milking a cow. One, I don't drink milk. I don't even like people putting milk in things like hot cocoa. I know you could put milk in it, but when I make it, I just use the powder shit. Eggs, I've seen people put milk in eggs. I won't eat it if I see. My mom used to do that, but if I seen her put milk in the eggs, I wouldn't eat it. Cakes and all that, I guess there's milk in there, whatever. Shit, I don't think I was even breastfeeding. Like, I don't want no damn milk. But my point is, I wouldn't be milking any cows. And if it came down to that, I would pay someone to do it for me. Or barter some skills, man. We went to a farm. I'm like, you want to go and milk the cow? No, I do not. So it's absurd. He's telling me that he used to milk cows and kids today don't know how to milk cows. So then I said, well, you don't know how to use a phone, because I was trying to teach him a phone and he's getting all frustrated. And this is just swipe to answer the thing. It'd be nice if we got him a flip phone, because you just flip it open, but that maybe it just wasn't in the package. So, and he's just going back and forth. You don't know how to milk a cow. I'm like, you don't know how to use a phone. You don't know how to milk a cow. You don't know how to use a phone. And we're going back and forth, back and forth. So then maybe last week, this happens all, like, for the past 6 months. This is always a thing. I'm standing there trying to, hey, the weather's nice today. Well, back in my day, the weather wasn't nice. And then I just got to sit there because I can't interrupt. I can't, because then it turns into what's going to happen as the story progresses. So either I just sit there and just kind of suck it up and then go to sleep and then wake up and start a new day, fresh page. Or if I happen to be in the living room and they happen to have the TV on, but it's usually on politics, but I could like kind of focus on that. But it's just, now some people, it's not even an issue. They'd be like, oh, whatever. My mom always yells at me. I don't care. But that's not me. If someone's talking, I'm listening, and it's just shit. I cannot function if I'm like working on a beat and there's a freaking fly doing something like bzz, 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 bzz. It's just like I gotta kill that fly because I cannot function. I can't sleep. That's just me. I'm hypersensitive to sounds, but I'm a musician, right? So so maybe like 2 weeks ago, my dad was doing the same thing. So I took out my phone and I recorded the conversation. It was like 22 minutes. I think I was talking about it. My purpose was later when we were I wanted to do a documentary about my dad. I think I was telling you about that. I wanted to record him using like the H6 and then kind of say, like, giving them example. Because when you put people on the spot, it'd be like, go, and it'd be like, oh, I don't know what to do. It'd be like, all right, you could listen to this. He's like, why did you record that? A couple weeks ago. So something like this, but I'm going to ask you questions and you're going to answer. So it's more like, I got ideas, man. And then when I have grandkids, like, this is what grandpa used to sound like. But it won't be so much like, but more like autobiography type shit. Big plans I have, But anyway, so I start playing it to him. At this point, just to say, everything you just said right now, you said that 2 weeks ago. So really, you don't have to say it again. But then my dad's like, oh, you're recording me. Now you're going to put it out on the internet. Well, he didn't use the internet. You're going to put it out on the satellite. Or some far-fetched, like, no. Why would I do that for? I mean, if I was going to do that, it'd be done already. But for what would I do that for? Nobody wants to hear you arguing about how milking cows and shit. So now he's saying, my privacy, my privacy. I mean, the satellites that they use right now, if they want to know anything about anybody, they could just bam. So then my dad, he slams up and he says, "Don't argue with me." Like, I'm not arguing. You asked me a question. I'm responding back. Now, at this point, anyone who knows me, like most people don't know me, but anyone who knows me, when I'm in this state of mind, that state of mind, like, it's just, because I'm activated. Like, if you ask me a question, and I ask you a question, and you end with, "I don't want to talk about it anymore," or any other way you want to, "Well, you're young, you don't understand that." "Oh, you're a man, you don't understand it." "Well, you did it." Like, that's not a conversation. That's not a dialogue. It's not a debate. It's "You'll find out when you get old." Like, all those things. It's just, to me, saying you are unable to communicate. Now, it usually gets thrown back at me. "Oh, you don't know how to communicate." But at least in my family, in my area, communicating is yelling at somebody until they stop talking. That's communication. So my dad gets up and he slams the door and he goes out front. So I follow him out front and I continue the conversation. He gets up, he slams the door, goes back in the house. I go back in and he's like, "Don't argue with me, don't argue with me." I'm like, "I'm not arguing." He's like, "Don't argue with me, don't argue." And it's just like, so I'm like, "Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question?" He says, "If I can answer, I'll answer it." And I said, "For the past 6 months, have you heard me complaining to you about anything?" He says, "No, I complain to you." So he's like proud of this. Like, everything that happened in Japan, I put in a little box and I put it in storage. I'm not like, "Oh, when I was in Japan, I had this and it's there. It's anywhere. Like I'm dealing with it the way I deal. Like, I make these videos and I do my Zumba and I do my walks, but I don't sit there and like complain to the people in my family or to anyone. I'm just like sucking it all in. At best, I tell my therapist, who, if you listen to the other video, it goes that way. So he's like, "Yeah, I complain to you, but you don't complain." So then my second question, how do I phrase it? Do you think that I love you? I think I said that. He says, "I don't know." Now, it's great that I used that other reference when I told him I loved him back like 5 years ago, and he's like, "I hope so." So that's kind of how it is in my family. We don't hug, we don't love, we don't say we love each other, we don't do anything. We just be there. And but nevertheless, like, why do you think I would be here? Why would I give up everything that I was doing to come here, to sit in cars in front of supermarkets and to sit in houses with no air conditioner for the whole summer and to be bothered by little flying bugs and have little, like, I had my issues in Japan, but these issues are, I don't know. If it wasn't for reasons, it's my dad. I'm going to do right by my dad. In the past 6 months, I haven't heard my dad said, "Thank you. I'm proud of you. I respect it." None of that. Everyone else is saying that, which means nothing. You know how that goes. So it's just like, so then my dad's like, "You know what? Don't buy me the beer. I'll have someone else buy me the beer." And I'm like, "Well, okay, fine, whatever you want to do." He's like, "Bah." And then it hit me. And it sucks. It hit me. We can't argue because we're coming from two different, like today I was listening to Aristotle. That's what I do at my free time. And these are like the people who debated shit. And Aristotle said this. We said a lot of stuff, but this one, or at least the book I'm reading, he said, but Aristotle said, now this was in reference to politics, but we could kind of expound on it. If you don't want to participate in politics, or if you're happy with your solitude, you're happy doing your own thing, so you're not for this group or against that group, you're just doing your thing, just surviving, not even surviving, you could be thriving on your own. Aristotle will say, you're either a beast like an animal, like a cattle or ox. You're a beast because you don't participate with other humans, or you're a god. And that just struck me. Am I a beast or a god? And what's cool is God spelled backward is dog, which is a beast. So either like, pow, pow. So this is where my mind is coming at, and my dad's is coming at a different mind. I can't win any argument with Matthew logic, and he's not going to persuade me with Papa logic. Or most people won't persuade me with their brand of logic because it's not logical. Like I mean, I could go on and on and on and on. So anyway, I said to my dad, well, he's like, I don't argue with me. Don't argue with me. I'm like, all right, well, I'll be your slave then. Because clearly what I have to say, you don't want to hear it and you just want me to do stuff, so I'll be your slave. But again, it's just going right over his head. You can't be my slave. But a slave wouldn't be able to talk back to the person because they have no rights. I mean, as I said, I'm reading this book now, and we did a chapter on slaves because, who was it? I think it was Aristotle. It was all about him. Aristotle, great man, but he believed that they're slaves because they were meant to be slaves, which is the same logic they used during slavery, right? So he's saying some people are born masters and some people are born slaves. Therefore, it is okay for them to be enslaved. And then he goes on, and the person who is enslaved, since they allow themselves to be enslaved, it's okay. And then this is based on the natural law. A rock falls to the ground because it wants to be closer to earth. And fire goes up to the sky because it wants to be closer to the heavens. Like, do you see what and now I can't use any of this in an argument with anybody in this area. Maybe some guy over there, maybe, but I've been holding this fry for so long, but I can't talk and eat at the same time. But, so then I was eating at that time, but I was just so upset. Well, I just wanted to get out the house. So I get out the house and then I call my aunt and I just tell her, if you listen to my video today, I said there was some other shit that was going on, which my dad doesn't know about. No one knows about. So I told her and she's like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, yeah. And it's just like, you have no idea, man. And it's just, so we're talking for an hour. The game starts at 7. It was like 6 o'clock. We talked till like 7 o'clock. But I just kind of got everything out. And my aunt, she's there. She listens. She's my dad's brother, so she knows how he is. She knows how I am. She knows how my mom was. So she's pretty, where I'm telling my side of the story, you might be like, man, your dad. And then when he tells his side, he might, yeah, your son. But she's kind of neutral in a sense. And she told me she's proud of me. But again, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm in the house with my dad all day, and he's just like, yeah. Yeah. But, yeah. So, I go to the game, and I didn't see my nephew. I didn't know who was playing. For a minute there, I didn't know if I was at the right field. But then I saw my brother go by, and he just kind of walked by. I'm pretty sure he's seen me, but we don't talk, so whatever. But yeah, man, it's real stupid. Real stupid. But I mean, it is what it is. Tomorrow morning, as I always say, I don't know if I can do this, because it's hard to reset on something like this. Little things I could reset, but this is annoying to me. It's annoying. But yeah, it is what it is. So yeah, that's my story, man. Someone said it though, I can't quote them exactly, but something along those lines. I'm not even going to go into that. But yeah, well, let's end on a semi-funny note. So I went to Burger King to get a cheeseburger that's probably cold by now because I've been holding this fry for as long as I've been talking for 20 minutes. And I'm going through the drive-thru, and I'm like, I want a plain cheeseburger. She's like, okay, and fries and a soda. And then I get up there. I said, just to confirm, I don't want any the just cheese and meat, no pickles, no onions, no. She's like, yeah, plain. In Japan, that'd be a whole nother conversation. Be like, I want a plain cheeseburger. A plain cheeseburger? Yeah, plain cheeseburger. What's a plain cheeseburger? You know, no pickles, no onions. Why? Because that's what I want. But we're supposed to put pickles, onion. Like, I was just sitting there for like 20 minutes trying to explain to some new staff. There's a video of me at McDonald's in Shibuya having that conversation. But I'm in America, so it's like, you can order 2 buns if you wanted to. Speaking of buns. So BBL, Brazilian butt lifts. I had to look it up because I'm at the game, right? And I see some moms. I guess they're moms. I would assume they're moms. And it looks like I feel like a tourist when I'm like, I've been here for 6 months, but I didn't see this when I used to go to the football games on Friday nights. I mean Saturday. Like, it just seems unnatural. Like, and I'm trying to focus because I don't want to be like weird. Like, look at that guy staring at you, Mom. What's wrong with him? It's like, oh, I guess he likes my buns. But anyway, in about 30 minutes, I'm going to go into Giant and I'm going to do my interview and figure out when I'm going to be doing the night shift stocking. Yay. But let me eat this burger and let me calm down. Let me get mentally prepared to get back to the house. But yeah, that's me. Peace.